Hello, hello, hello. This is Tooth Be Toad. This is Dr. Walter Aka.
And I'm Leroy Horton.
So, uh, we don't have anything to really talk about. We don't.
Nobody wanted to come talk to us, man.
No one wanted to come talk to us today. And so what I did was I scrambled. I did a little bit of scrambling around and I asked people, listeners, to basically give us some questions. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to answer some questions and and it's funny because a lot of the listeners just basically go off of what they see on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And I might be the biggest hater on social media. I might be because every time I see something, I'm like, look at this beep. Let me send it to you or let me send it to somebody. Look at that. And if you go on I have two different social media. I have like my personal and I have my Tooth Be Toad, right? And I kind of try to run both of them. But my personal, you'll always see just funny, ridiculous stuff because I truly don't take social media seriously. When people are posting inspirational stuff, I'm posting coming to America stuff. Like you won't get anything inspirational from my page at all.
Right.
Right. You'll get, coming to America and like, I don't know, the just random just jokes.
So you're not
That's
gonna walk away loving yourself more than you did before from
no,
this.
no, no. It's all no. Listen,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I have issues with social media already because I truly believe that you can make anything sound inspirational,
Mm-hmm.
right? All you need to do is put some nice like piano music,
Yep.
put some words in there, and I can let me do it right now. Let me do it right now. Okay, ready? Piano music, pretend piano is going
Right.
on, and then, bam. You know, I wake up in the morning and I walk outside. And do you know what gives life? The sun. You know what I get when I look at the sun? Not cancer. That's stupid. Life. I get life. Why do plants get life from the sun? It's called photosynthesis, but that's a big word. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about vitamin D. And I pause.
Pause.
I
Pause.
said D. That's the kind of stuff that's on social media. Hence the reason you'll never hear me giving any inspiration or anything on social media.
Yeah.
Right?
But think about it though.
Yeah.
It's almost to the point where if you don't play the game, you're not gonna get the clicks,
Mm-hmm.
you're not gonna get the followers.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's almost like it's social currency. And I can't remember which movie it was. No, it was an episode of Black Mirror. I don't know if you saw that on
Oh, I
Netflix.
love Black Mirror. Love Black
Yeah.
Mirror.
You remember the one where everyone had like their likes rating, their social
Yep.
media
That's it. Yep.
score, and that's how you navigated through life was
That's it.
based on.
Yeah. And
I
you were
feel
in
like
that colony.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
where we're going. You know?
It's gonna get there. It's gonna get there. And so that brings me up to so I have the biggest problem right now
Mhm.
is so I'm back on social media because of this podcast. Honestly, my brothers are like, "Hey, if you're gonna do a podcast, at least let people know it's out there." So I'm back on social media. I'm doing a lot
Yeah,
more
point.
with it.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I hate myself, but that's another story for another day. I feel like I'm on there too much. I feel like I used to be more productive with myself. I used to, read more and stuff like that. Now I spend a lot of my time trying to edit stuff. And I'm too old for social media because when I edit stuff, it takes me way longer than it probably should. You know what I mean? So that's just more time that I have to devote to this than that I don't even like. But anyway, that's
I might have to call Cap though, because I've been following you on TikTok, and you've been putting some good content on TikTok.
thank you so
It's
much.
actually been enjoyable. It looks like you love what you're doing.
It's a lie. Do you know how long it took me to get that background? That stuff on the back. It took me 30 minutes one day to figure out how to get that stuff on the background.
Right.
I was so proud of myself. You don't understand. This was at work. I was
Right.
so proud of myself. I was late for surgery trying to figure this TikTok thing out. It's a lie. I am the worst. That's like, I hate it because I remember, when my mom would ask me, "Oh, can you fix this, VCR or DVD?" I'm like, "Mom, come on, you should know how to do this by now." "Oh,
Right.
can you go ahead and show me how to use Word?" Mom, come on, you're embarrassing
Right.
me.
How do you not know this? It's
Yeah,
easy.
now I'm
Just
that
press these
guy.
buttons.
I'm that
Yeah.
guy. I literally tried to. I was so. I mean, I was so proud to get that background image up that I called my brothers and I was like, yo, guess what I just did? Check out my TikTok. And he's like, and the first thing they all said was, what are you doing on TikTok? I thought you hated TikTok. And I was like, but that's what I have to do. That's what I
Right.
have to do. So
No, I'm with it.
I'm
I'm
not
with
gonna
it.
lie to you, man. You're right. I'm on TikTok, but I promise you when I say I'm not good at it.
It's, as good as you are though, it's actually enjoyable. Especially when you come out, is it the back door of your
Mhm.
your clinic and you're just griping and complaining about whatever? Like it's
Oh,
like what's this grumpy old man complaining about today?
right. If you really
Oh, these
want to get
patients don't pay their bills.
if you want to get get to know me, go on TikTok because that's when I'm usually always just complaining about something. Or
Right.
let me tell you about this patient, or let me tell you about this assistant. I'm always just talking about something. But I will tell you though, people will send me stuff, and I remember you sent me one thing that was really just. I mean, it made me really think,
Mhm.
and it kind of hurt me because there was a dentist, a pediatric dentist, who basically was caught with child pornography.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Bro, I
Yeah.
I about lost it, man. And I mean, that's beyond disgusting because people
Right.
trust us. Okay, let me actually, speaking of trust, let me
Okay.
tell you something. So I looked up what the trust meter is for dentists. What the
Oh
trust
shit.
meter, and the number one trusted profession being in the profession that people trust the most, guess what it
Mhm.
is?
Teacher?
Uh, Teacher got 69%.
Oh shit. Okay.
Number one still.
69%. Number one.
Think what happened during COVID and who are the people that we were always clapping for?
Oh, first responders like firemen and EMTs, stuff like that.
Think closer to the patient.
Nurse.
Yes.
People trust nurses.
Nurses
Yes.
were trusted the most at 84%.
Okay. Where are
Then
we?
doctors were right underneath at like 74%.
All right, question. Are we doctors?
No,
Ah, damn
no.
it.
You need to get
Damn
over it.
it.
Damn right you're not. Get over it. Okay? Just because we were talking about this Rico Suave coming on here with the long hair, looking like Zeus and in living color together. We were talking about that before, but anyway, I digress. Dentist, 58% trustworthiness.
Wow.
58%. And that's actually closest to the lowest we've ever been. We've never
Which is
fallen under 50%, right?
which
We
is
beat
crazy.
we beat police by 1%.
And we already know what they out here doing.
We
And we in the same boat?
we beat
We
them
in
by
the same
1%.
boat?
So we're better. We beat them by 1%.
Gee, we got it. Dentists, fellow.
Chiropractors were 62%. So
All
people
right,
believe cracking your back is more
to,
trustworthy than fixing your teeth.
to
Cracking
this
your back is more
day,
trustworthy.
I have no idea how chiropractics works. And maybe we just have to have a chiropractor on. But there's this orthopedic surgeon, can't remember his YouTube page. He has a really cool page where he just kind of talks about stuff, kind of like we talk about stuff from time to
Right,
time.
right, right, right,
And
right.
he was basically saying that cracking any joint is essentially popping an air bubble that's in there. And so you can't really realign someone's spine because he was talking about like when he does spine surgeries, the amount of like force and pressure,
Right,
to do it, put a rod or anything that he needs to
right.
to do to straighten it. And he was like, "There's no way popping air works."
You need
And
to
but
tell
but they're doctors too.
tell him that he's a hater.
He's a
I've
hater.
seen a lot of YouTube, a lot of TikTok where people would be like, "I want you to go. I want you to be,"
Right.
and they're like, "Oh God, oh thank you Jesus, I can walk now." And I'm
Yeah.
like, that man just saved his life.
Hey,
I actually
listen.
got chiropractor. I went to a chiropractor one time. My lower back was killing me, right?
Right.
I went to a chiropractor for maybe like 2 or 3 months.
Hmm.
Kept cracking this and cracking that, and then had me get on this weird standing vibrator thing. It was weird. It was a weird standing
Pause.
vibrator
Damn,
thing,
it's two in
right?
one night. Yeah.
No, but I'm not even sure
Pause
if
that. You
I was on it. I was enjoying it and I was vibrating.
you was
Okay.
loving the vibrator, huh?
I was on the vibrator and I was loving it. Okay. I was because I paid for it. And it was cash. It was cash because he didn't take insurance. It was the weirdest thing. This man didn't take insurance. And
Okay.
I wanted to support him because he was like so for me, he was like this black chiropractor, and then there was another
Okay.
chiropractor. And I said, I'm gonna go with my brother right here. I'm
I
gonna
would
go to
support
him.
that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I absolutely did. And so I went there, and he cracked me a little bit. First thing he actually did was he basically showed me what my spine looked like,
Hmm.
and I thought it looked normal. Then he said, "No, that doesn't look normal." And then he basically had like a heat chart. You know how like you can see where like if you ever shine something on the wall, the you can see where like heat spots are and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had that.
On your
I don't
back.
know how that has to do with my back, but he had
Okay.
heat sensor stuff.
Oh
So
shit.
I looked at it and said, "That's serious." He gave me heat sensors.
He's
So that
legit.
he must know what he's doing if I have heat sensors, right? So I listened to him. I said, "All right, man, just fix my back. My lower back is killing me. Just fix it." He goes, "It's going to take a little bit of time, but we're going to do it." So every
Okay.
time he cracked this and cracked that, and then get me on a vibrator, and then he'll basically have and and you need to grow up. You need to grow up.
Listen, listen,
You need to grow up.
listen. All I've heard, this is how immature my mind is, okay? All I've heard so far is that you found yourself a black doctor
Mm-hmm.
who used a vibrator to blow
Mm-hmm.
your back out. That's all I heard. That's all I heard.
Wait a minute. Not a single time
That's
did
all
I
I
say
heard so far.
anything about blow my back. Never said
Listen,
that.
I'm a
I said
14-year-old child in my mind right now because this is all
he
I've
was
heard
cracking.
so far.
He was. See, this is why I don't tell you these stories. This is why I don't tell you these stories because see, you're a pervert. You're a pervert. You're sitting here looking at talking about a grown man like myself get my back blown out by another grown man. That doesn't make any sense. See, all this like weird innuendos that you're trying to put out there.
So
I'm
at
gonna cancel that.
this office, when
I'm gonna cancel that.
when when your chocolate doctor was working on your back, were you bent over the table?
No, bro.
Is that how it works?
This is the problem with you. This is why no one
I'm
takes
trying to
us.
picture how he was
This
blowing
is
his back out and where the vibrator was.
this is why our as listeners don't take us seriously. I'm trying to
Okay,
tell
okay,
you.
okay. I'll be serious. I'll
I'm
be
trying
serious.
to tell
Okay,
you
so
an issue that I had and how a chiropractor wanted to resolve my issue.
yes,
And you're talking about
yes.
someone blowing my back out. It doesn't make any
I
sense.
I apologize. Let's get back to your medical ailment
Thank
that you
you.
were getting fixed.
Thank you.
Okay.
So fast forward past all that weird stuff that you try to insinuate with this weird rigmarole. 3 months later, my back still hurts.
Gotcha.
Okay. Pause. So then, so then I said, this is clearly not working. And I've gone, I went once a week. No, at the beginning it was twice a week. So I've gone for at least 16 times.
Okay.
Nothing.
None.
Then I went and I basically went to a lady who basically does massaging. And she's like, oh, you have some tightness in your hamstring. You have some tightness in your okay, see? Okay.
I need to know where this story's going.
Okay.
Let's make sure it's appropriate. I need to make sure this story is appropriate.
Okay.
So your tightness between your legs and your hamstrings. Okay.
This is your problem. You're not mature. You're not mature. This is your problem. You're not mature.
I'm trying.
You need to grow up. Okay. So back to this young lady. Okay. So she tells me my hamstrings are a little tight. Okay.
Gotcha.
I said, okay. She goes, do you stretch? I said, you know what? Yes, I sometimes do. I said, I try my best. She goes, okay. So she's massaging, right? She's getting in there deep.
I'm gonna have to mute my buttons.
You need to grow up. So she's getting in there deep, right? She's getting in there really, really, you know what I mean? She's trying, because you gotta get past the fascia. So she's getting in there really deep into my muscles, right? So I go, okay, this is feeling good. Right?
Okay.
I go there for another, like, I go there for like, oh man, like 2 or 3 months. She's working in there, right? My calves, my hamstring. Come to find out, it worked.
Right.
What the problem was the muscles, because when everybody thinks of sacrum, they're thinking, oh, it's just my back, right?
Right.
Sacral, they're thinking sacral nerve, they're thinking back, but the muscles around your legs are what's actually impinging the nerve.
Right.
And that's what she was trying to loosen up, you pervert. Okay. And so basically, she put me on a stretching regiment,
Right.
and so they basically told me start doing yoga.
I'm with
So
that.
I'm not gonna hate on any chiropractor out there,
Right.
but the best thing to do if you do have lower back, if you have any issues with any kind of pain, start stretching. Neck
You know,
pain, stretch.
that was a takeaway when you talked to our who was our exercise doc?
Oh, Uche,
Uche.
Dr.
Yeah,
Uche.
yeah. Great episode, by the way. So if anyone
Oh
is
no, excellent
still,
episode.
if anyone's still listening to us
No
by
one's
now.
listening to you because they realize how immature you are. You eliminated the 5 people that listen to us because you're immature. You're very immature. I just want to let you know that.
Listen, if nothing else, we got at least a good 2 minute clip that we can promote of you just digging yourself
We're not
deeper.
gonna do that because you don't. You know what the problem is? You see this. You see disgusting behaviors when you think of my health. I went to professionals, and you're
Professionals.
talking about blowing my back out and deep massages between my legs. That's weird.
Hey,
Weird.
you did that one to yourself. You did that one to yourself. But I can attest to yoga. I started having lower back issues years
Right.
ago. And funny, interesting story. I too went to a chiropractor,
Mhm.
and I guess we shouldn't badmouth chiropractors.
No, I'm not bad
they have a
mouthing
place.
anybody.
There's expertise that they have.
Yeah,
It's just my personal experience.
right. It didn't work for me.
He showed me my
I'll say
spine,
it.
and was that?
It didn't work for me. I'll say it.
Oh, yeah, and he showed me, and this is where I started thinking about parallels with dentistry. He showed me
Mhm.
a X-ray of my spine and started pointing out things. And obviously, I don't know what I'm looking at, right?
Same.
Like you said, everything looks fine. And it's kind of like when we put our patient's X-rays on the screen, and we're like, "Hey, this is your X-ray. See this
That's
little
it.
dark triangle here?
That's
That's
it.
a caries, right?"
That's it.
But it was funny because he said, "Yeah, I can tell there's a lot of soft tissue inflammation and blah blah blah." And I was like, "Okay." I went through a couple treatments, still didn't make any difference. I ended up going to an orthopedic doc at Kaiser, and they
Hmm.
did an MRI. And so I was telling him what the chiropractor said, and he was like, "Oh, so he saw soft tissue inflammation on your X-ray, huh?" And at the time, I'm in dental school, right? And I'm starting to put like the conversation together because you don't know, you're just trusting, right? And he kind of the way he said it with that sarcastic tone, I was like,
You realize something was
"Son of
up.
a gun, son of a gun." But honestly, it was muscular. So I started, I did some PT, but I really started doing yoga and consistent stretching. And when
That's
I
it.
say stretching, it's not like, 5 seconds bouncing, trying to touch my toe, and then,
Right.
it's literally like when you do is it not vinyasa yoga, it's like a hatha yoga where you like hold the position for like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So when I stretch now, instead of just holding each stretch for like 5, 10 seconds, I will
Right.
hold it. And it ends up being really difficult. I'll hold that
Yeah.
stretch for like a good 90 seconds to 2 minutes. And it made it, a
If
huge
anybody
difference.
weightlifts, I dare you to take one yoga class. I dare you.
Mm,
You'll come out of there one feeling like I can't do anything.
right.
Two, you'll see people half your size doing all kinds of flexible stuff that you can't do. Like
Right.
I can't sit they call it crisscross applesauce now. Back in the
Right.
day it was like Indian style, but I don't want to get canceled. So
You
it's
can't say it.
crisscross applesauce now, right? And I can't sit like that.
Right.
Wife still to this day laughs at me because I remember one time we went to a wedding, and it was at a temple, and it was a beautiful wedding, and they had us sitting on the floor like on these like pillows.
Hmm.
Couldn't sit like that. Couldn't sit. You saw me sitting with my leg crossed to one side. You saw me extend, and I couldn't extend my legs straight, right?
Right.
Because there's
Right.
someone in front of me.
Yeah.
Oh man, talk
Oh,
about
that would have been a
uncomfortable.
nightmare for me.
Talk about uncomfortable. The whole time I'm sitting there just trying to adjust myself, and people are just sitting there, and
Right. Comfortable.
oh, it was bad.
Just comfortable.
Oh,
Yeah.
and this is when I knew I was just not flexible by any stretch of imagination.
Right.
Back in the
Right.
day, when we remember the president's test, where they'll test you for your
Yeah.
pull up and all that stuff,
The
and the one part was
presidential physical fitness test. Yeah.
yes, the one part was the stretching.
Yeah.
I just barely made the stretching.
Really?
I did enough to just okay. Well, what do I need? All right, cool. There it
All
is.
right.
Oh, I was
Oh,
not.
bro.
I've never been flexible.
I used to kill that test.
I was never flexible.
Man,
Everything
listen,
else,
when
I
I
used
was
to
in middle school and high school, I was a problem, bro. I was a problem. You put me in anything athletic, I was a problem. I was killing it.
You see, this is when
You know,
the listeners are going, he's reliving something.
I'm reliving.
So it's funny if you don't know, Dr. Horton's son is legitimately a track star,
He is
legitimate track
legitimate.
star.
Yes.
Dr. Horton is not, and so he tries to
Hey,
live vicariously.
hey.
No, the truth is out there.
Listen.
Don't try to Cat William us.
Okay.
Don't try to do
Listen.
Cat Williams like,
This
oh
is this
yeah,
is
I
my
can do
claim to
four.
fame. This is my claim to fame.
Please do.
So we had an undefeated 4x1 relay team when I was in high school and I ran track. Okay.
What
We were
year?
undefeated
What
until
year?
the state finals,
What year?
1999. Okay.
1999. There it is.
1999. Okay.
Okay,
And
so more than 24, 25 years ago. Go ahead.
way more. Yes.
Right, right.
And our big thing is we wanted to break the state record because the
Okay,
record for the 4x1 had been since like the 80s, right?
okay.
Um, we ended up fumbling a handoff in like the finals and we ended up taking third in state. But my son last year in his relay team, they broke this almost 40-year-old record. But guess
Nice.
what? Me and my son have the same exact name. So in 20, 30 years, 40
You,
years, when
you
someone's
are a
looking
sad
back,
man. You
they might think it's still me.
they will not think it's you. They will not think Papa Zeus came through and broke your record. They would not think that. Anyway, let's you know what? We've wasted so much time. Let's get back to these listener questions.
Yes, we had
Because
some listener questions. Let's get them.
because we realized something tonight. You're immature. You're a 40-year-old that's immature. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't want to say it, but you're immature. Okay. I can't even talk to you about my ailments without you making it weird.
You need to script it and submit it for approval before you say a lot of the things that you said.
you you're immature. Anyway. Okay, so first question. Okay.
Mm.
I've seen a lot of people getting veneers and crown on social media, Instagram and TikTok. I was wondering how young is the youngest person that can get veneers or crowns? Meaning, how young
Oh,
can you be to get veneers and crowns?
well, there's a technical answer to that. You can really be any age per se,
Okay.
right? Most people that most providers that do veneers that I've seen, they'll do it on people in their early 20s, right? And it's usually someone that's got severe wear, chipped teeth, malalignment, and they don't want to go through braces because you can mask some bad positioning of teeth with veneers. It's not the healthiest way to go about it because you are shaving down teeth, and then you may have to bulk out the material to compensate for some of the spacing. Um, I probably wouldn't do it on anybody that was, less than 30, 35. I would push them towards orthodontics first. And even then,
Hmm.
I've done a couple cases where it's like premolar, kind of smile makeover. They've almost always been like in their 40s or 50s. I would say typically 50s. The kid is out, the kids have gone out the house or off to college and they're finally investing in themselves. And those can be heartwarming stories, right? Someone that sacrificed their whole life for their kid. But my pet peeve with that is they always choose a B1 shade.
That's like white,
And
white.
that is porcelain white. And I
Yeah.
always try to tell them, like, you want it to look like nothing's been done. If someone looks at you and says, "Oh, where did you get your teeth done?" We have not succeeded. But as far as back to the original question, I see 20-year-olds doing it and it breaks my heart.
Yeah.
It really does.
I
How do
have
you
I
feel?
have big issues with what's happening with veneers and crowns, especially veneers in
Mhm.
social media. Because just like with anything, and I want people to understand this, this goes with all of dentistry. The second somebody puts a drill to your tooth, and there are veneers that you don't need to cut your teeth, by the way. They're no prep veneers, right? They're usually the ones you just kind of, it's almost like the acrylic that you get on your nails. You don't have to shave your nails down to get acrylic on there, right? Kind of
Right.
like that. But the ones where you do have to cut your teeth down because of alignment, basically how your teeth are aligned, that's that's the problem. Because every time you cut a tooth, you've basically doomed that tooth and you started a clock. That's what I tell everybody. You started a clock. And that clock is going to end. It's going to end sooner or later. And that clock is going to end with that tooth coming out. Or,
Right.
or 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 that tooth having to do something with root canals or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So think of it like this. If you get veneers when you're in your 20s, early 20s, what are the chances that you're going to have the same veneers, the same teeth when you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s?
No.
Your car doesn't last you 20 years.
Mm.
Do you really think something that you use 60, 70% of the time is going to last you 20 years?
You're just
So to
borrowing.
me, just think of it like that,
Yeah.
right?
You're
Think
you're
of I know
borrowing.
that we're pushing. I know in dentistry we're pushing a lot of aesthetics now, and everybody's doing veneers. I mean, I see so many celebrities getting veneers, and oh, this is my famous celebrity dentist that does my veneers and so forth, and that's great. But
Right.
we have to consider the age of the patient. And
Mhm.
braces, I know it's not sexy. I get it. But braces are something that may just do to give you the same exact thing. Whitening your teeth may give you the same exact thing.
I agree with you. I would say I would caution anybody. There is a place for all the treatments that we talk about, even the ones that we kind of harp on, right? So
Yeah,
there is a place for it.
absolutely.
If you're trying to correct your bite with veneers, that means you're taking a series of thin porcelain glass covers that you're gluing to your teeth. And when you don't have a correct bite, the amount of forces those veneers are going to be taken are going to be more than physiologically and mechanically
They're gonna
within their
break.
ability to
They're
handle.
gonna
They're going to
break.
break over
Yeah,
time.
that's
Okay,
it.
so just know that.
Yeah.
The other thing that I urge is that if you get them when you're 20 and you match your 20-year-old face, one thing about our natural teeth, they age with us. You get a little bit of wear, color dims a little bit. You don't want to be that person that's 50 now, 60, your skin is sagging a little bit, you got some wrinkles, we all age, you got some grays, but your teeth are still porcelain white. It's not gonna look natural,
You know,
you
people
know.
don't realize this. The why do kids have really white teeth? It's because as we age, right, the enamel, which is the top part that you see, gets thinner and thinner and thinner. And our teeth start getting yellower and yellower because of the dentin that's underneath. Basically, the stuff that's underneath is thicker, right? It's not thicker or thinner. It's just basically your enamel gets thinner. The dentin underneath starts showing more. And so that's exactly what we talk about when we're talking about, hey, this is what we're dealing with, and why our teeth yellow as we age is because of that.
Right.
Next question. Next question. Next
That's
question.
that's a tough one.
Have you guys seen Kanye West's new
Oh,
grill?
Jesus.
What do you guys think? And was it worth $850,000?
You talking about the James Bond full titanium grill. I've stopped buying into anything Ye does years ago. We've done traded him to the next team, the opposite team
Oh,
years ago. So whatever he's doing, and I don't even know if they're trying to say he permanently shaved down his teeth and this is a permanent one-piece titanium grill. God bless him. I don't wish no ill will on that man, but what's he doing?
$850,000. Whoever the
What's he
dentist
doing?
is that did it is very, very, very happy.
Oh, very happy
Very
because
happy. $850,000. Very happy.
very
I could
happy.
I could have destroyed his teeth with that.
Same here. I mean, listen. When I think about how many tuitions he could have paid with that 850,000, how many mortgages for poor families he could have supported, I'm not impressed by it, and I don't know who is. Who is? Okay, here's a better question: who's impressed by that?
A lot of people because they're talking about it. And I'm getting a
Really?
question about it. So it seems like it's out there, right? People are talking about
Who's
it. And
that's?
and and it's funny, I saw there's this dental influencer conference, and
Oh yeah, I saw that.
the guy who did it is going to be there. And I was like, there you go. I kind of want to talk to him, to be honest with you. So I'm going to try to reach out and see if he can come and talk about this because I saw the guy who did it. He's jacked, he's built, so he works
Yeah,
out clearly. The
right.
dentist does. So maybe he can talk to us about how he even got into this conversation with Kanye to do this $850,000 treatment.
Listen,
I'll take
I,
his
I I
course.
feel like at this point Kanye is just a train wreck, and so what we're watching, and unfortunately, it's bled into the dental world. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be want to known I want to be known as the doctor that did that to somebody. Because we've all seen how these doctors will do stuff on celebrities.
Right.
They may work or they may go horribly wrong, and then you're infamously known for something that failed,
Right.
or for something that was just, but I don't know. I mean, he's in the entertainment industry, and maybe this was all positive from that standpoint.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. 850,000, that dentist is happy. Good for dentistry. Moving
He can
on.
buy a lot of Anavar and Nandrolone and any other supplement he wants now.
See, I didn't even go that route.
He
You
can stock up. I don't know if you see pictures of this dude, but
you did.
he's stocking up on the
Isn't that
vitamins.
what did they
On the
say?
vitamins, he's stocking up right now.
Is he natty or not? We're gonna
Right.
say he
Oh, if he comes on, we have to do a natty or not. You never know. He could be completely honest and be like, "Hey, yeah, I'm a professional bodybuilder too. This is what I
that's it.
do."
It is what
Yeah.
it is. I hope he comes on. He probably won't after this, but it's all good. I have another question here.
All
Why
right.
do most dentists say you need a crown after you get a root canal?
Oh, yes, 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 yes. So when you do a root canal, especially on a back tooth, and our back teeth take a ton of wear and tear. I mean, we're biting, thousands of times per day. I mean, so many cycles of use on our back teeth. To do the root canal, you're boring right through the center.
Mhm.
So all that supporting tooth structure that's supporting the cusps or the sharp part of our teeth that we used to bite with is now undermined. And so even though we put a filling material in there, it's not as strong. Nothing's ever as strong as your natural tooth. And so of the teeth that break, the highest percentage of them by far are root canal teeth in the back of the mouth. And so it's kind of become the standard of care. If you get a root canal in the back, get a crown, because otherwise there's a super high chance within 5 years that tooth is going to break off. And now it may or may not be savable at that point.
There you go. There you go. That was a
Yeah,
good one. That was a quick,
that was an
short
easy one.
answer.
Yeah.
Here's the next one. How do I know the dentist I'm going to isn't ripping me off and doing things that I don't need?
You go to his TikTok. He's got a lot of followers. You're
Stop.
good. Nothing
No,
else
no, no.
matters, right?
No, no, honestly, like how do people know this? To me, I
You know,
feel like you can't. You don't know. You don't
you,
know. You
you
don't
you
know.
don't know. What you do is you have some knowledge, and hopefully you don't go to Dr. Google and then come and try and talk shop with the dentist, because
How
that
about
that could become a little cumbersome for
how
us.
about they
You
listen to our
know,
podcast because all we do is talk about all this
that's
stuff,
all we do is talk about it. Listen to the
right?
podcast, and
So
you'll get your
listen to our
degree.
podcast.
All you gotta do is 100 episodes at 9.99 an episode, and we'll get your dental degree, right?
That's it. That's it. That's it. But no, honestly,
but
like listen, what do we do? What do we do where because I feel like you said, remember we talked about dentists are not really that trusted, 58%
right.
trustworthiness. So how do we know that a dentist is being honest to the patient?
It's part of it is you gotta be able to connect on a vibrational level, right? And if you say, hey, this guy's gonna be, this office has good vibes. I walk in, everybody's friendly. Um, Everybody seems pretty straightforward and honest. They go out of the way to give me some education. So like it starts from the moment you walk into the office to see if this is an office that is it a factory? Are they trying to speed me through? Are they trying to always upsell me on something? So I think that's where the trust really starts, to get garnered. Then with the doctor, if you find someone that is personable, that talks to you, that does a little extra things to show you why you need something explained to you. And then beyond that, obviously, is what the reputation in the community is. Because it's like when you go to a mechanic, I'm really, I don't know nothing about fixing, engines and all that, but I trust the place I take my car to, because other people take their cars there. They only have positive reports. No one really has complained that they've gotten, jerked around. And so I feel like it's a culmination of things, but unless you yourself are a dentist, you don't know. But never fear to get a second opinion. Never fear to get a second
I was
opinion.
just gonna say that. The only thing that I know is to just get a second opinion.
Right.
What get a third opinion, get a fourth opinion. All you can do is gather information, sit at home and compare and contrast,
Right.
right? and then basically make your decision off of that. If a dentist gets upset because you're going to go get a second opinion, I run away from that dentist. I would.
Yeah.
And that includes me. If I get upset because you're getting a second opinion, run away from me.
Exactly. But here's the caveat. When you go get the second opinion, don't give the history and don't show up preemptively showing them your previous treatment plan.
That's it.
Just go like it's a normal appointment.
That's it.
You're going to address whatever needs you have.
Don't even
then
say it's a
compare the
second
two.
opinion. I wouldn't even tell them it's a second
Don't even
opinion.
say that. No,
Just because, hey, I'm
this is
here.
what happens. Let's say dentist A is super aggressive and they treatment plan 10 crowns. If you go to this other dentist and you tell them, yeah, this other dentist said I needed 10 crowns, you know what they're going to do? They're going to find 8. You get what I'm saying? Hopefully not.
Right.
You know, if you don't truly need them.
That's a good one.
But you're setting yourself up because you set the bar to where all they have to do is be slightly less aggressive than that super aggressive person.
That's it.
So just going with a clean slate, just say you're here for an appointment, then you can compare the two and you can see if they're within the ballpark of each other, then they were both probably honest. If one was a $40,000 treatment plan and one was a $5,000 treatment plan, now you may need a third opinion,
Right.
but clearly the $40,000 treatment plan, there's some red flags there.
That's it.
That makes sense.
I agree. I like that answer. My man. Okay, next one. I'm thinking about getting my teeth straightened, but I don't know the difference between regular braces and Invisalign. What is the biggest difference between the two then?
And we talked about Smile Direct Club closing up a few episodes ago.
Right. Oh,
so this is
people actually told us
question.
People told me they were like, well, I listened to you guys, but I had no idea why you guys were hating on Smile Direct so much. So maybe we just didn't do a good job of explaining what Smile Direct was.
Right.
You know, but again, maybe we'll get back to that and explain that in more detail. But let's talk about the difference between braces and Invisalign. If there is.
All right. So Invisalign is actually a very cool technological advancement. All right. Traditionally, braces were you put these brackets, metal brackets that are glued to your teeth, and an orthodontist uses a series of wires strategically placed and bent and shaped to be able to slowly, gradually put forces on your teeth to move them into correct alignment, right? Those traditional braces that we've all seen. When you have really, really bad alignment or jaw issues, that's where you get those, you know, those movies where someone had headgear on and, you know, the ones we used to make fun of and throw crumped up papers at
we didn't do that, bro.
You didn't do that? I didn't do that either. I didn't do that. I'm just saying, I've seen it.
You're a bully.
I've seen it, right? but we're in an age now where with clear aligners, this is what they do. They take either the impression of your teeth or a digital impression of your teeth. And with a computer software, they're able to step by step move your teeth gradually into the ideal position. And for each one of those incremental steps, they create a tray, a clear plastic tray that you pop on your teeth, and it applies pressure strategically to certain areas to gradually move those teeth into that alignment the way the software has planned it out. So it has a great utility. I think it's an amazing service. Downside is you have the ability to take those trays out. And so you have to be super duper disciplined about wearing those trays 24/7, and you only take them out when you eat and brush your teeth. And every time you switch to a new tray, because what happens is I put a tray in, it starts pushing in the teeth. So that day it hurts because it's pushing. Well, in that first couple of days, that tooth moves, or those teeth move, doesn't hurt as much. Now I'm good. You keep wearing that tray for like 2 weeks, so it stabilizes that new position. Then you go to your next tray, and it's pushing again. It is so, because I had Invisalign, it was so uncomfortable every time you switch trays. And you're laying there in bed like, oh, I just want to take these on, just throw them across the room. So that's the downside. Upside is it's clear, it's convenient. Upside is, that's the upside. It's clear, it's convenient. The downside is it takes a lot of discipline. Whereas with the braces, you know, you can't take them out. You have metal in your mouth. And nowadays, I'll tell you this much, because all my kids went through braces. Before, it used to be something that would tease you on when we were kids. Now it became a fashion thing. You could color coordinate your bands and all that. Like kids wanted braces at some point in my kids' generation. And so I would say if you're an adult, clear aligners is a better viable option because you're more disciplined. If you're a kid or if you have a amount of movement that's just too severe, because we're limited in what we can do with clear aligners. Your orthodontist may say that no, you're better off with traditional braces.
There you go. Okay, cool. Last question is, why do dentists push to get so many x-rays, and is that really needed?
Ooh, that's a good one. That is a good one.
Yeah.
Well, my opinion is the amount of radiation you're getting exposed to nowadays is so minimal with these digital x-rays. The more information, the better. You can catch things early. There's liability issues,
Mhm.
right? I've personally known dentists who were very conservative with x-rays, and because they missed the roots of a teeth over a certain amount of years and the old root canal become infected, and by the time they did catch it, that defect was too big to be savable. He got sued and he lost. But had he been taking x-rays,
Right.
even though, a lot of patients think it's just a way of us to do a money grab,
Right.
he would have saved this patient tooth and saved himself a lawsuit. So I say I'm pro X-ray, especially nowadays that the radiation is so minimal.
Right.
So
And a lot of people don't realize how minimal these x-rays are. I mean, when you fly, you get pretty much the same kind of radiation that you do whenever you take x-rays.
right.
Right? Because back in the day, and I want people to understand this, and when I say back in, I'm talking about the previous generation, not to me, of course, but back in the
Mhm.
day, before me, of course. I want to say that
Yeah,
again
1700s.
because I'm young. So
Yeah, of
back in the
course.
day, this is what I heard. This is what I was told. Right? You had to go into a dark room and develop your films. I remember doing that, but
Yes.
whatever. That's not what I was saying. Right? I remember having to sit there and develop. So what we would do was take a bunch of X-rays, and the cone wasn't really specific. It was almost like a blast. That's
Mhm.
what you would get. You were getting a blast because you wanted to kind of capture this small film. And it was phosphorus. Was it phosphorus films?
They did well. There was an era where we used the phosphorus plates.
Right. And then it
Yeah.
was supposed to be a little bit better. But again, you capture the X-ray, and then you would go into a dark room, and then you would develop it, and you would pray that you got the X-ray that you needed. Right?
Hmm.
And then if you didn't, remember, we would take like 16 to 18 pictures. And if you
Right.
didn't, you'd have to go back to the patient and say, I need to get like three more, four more,
Right.
five more, 10 more, whatever it may be. And so then you'd basically be taking x-rays again.
Hmm.
Now, because it's digital, it's very minimal. You get the results immediately, and then you go, okay, well, we need to adjust this, this, and this. And so not time is a value. And on top of that, you're not getting hit with so much radiation.
Right.
Right? Do you still need to wear your lead apron? Absolutely. But we're doing that more and more as more of a precautionary situation
Yeah.
than what it used to be, where you were getting hit with a lot of radiation. So remember, if you like to travel, if you fly, you're getting about the same amount of radiation. You can look it up and at me if you want to.
Right. And
Uh,
and you think about it, you're only doing this once or twice a year.
right, right.
When you think about your cell phone,
That's it.
your electrical appliances, your trips,
Hmm.
like there's so much more, your food,
Yeah,
I mean, there's
yeah.
radiation in bananas,
There you
you
go.
eat bananas, your 6 month tally of bananas is about as much as an x-ray,
Oh,
you know,
see, I didn't even know
and
that.
it's so little now that actually here in Oregon, you're not even required to wear the lead vest.
There you go.
You're required to have it in case the patient wants it.
Yeah.
But all the data showing that with the new collimator tubes and
Mhm.
the minimum amount of radiation, you don't even have to wear a lead vest anymore.
There you
You know?
go. So that was the end of the questions. I thought this was fun. We got a chance to
Yeah,
finally
this is
do
fun.
like listener questions, and there's six of them. So thank you for the six people that asked questions. That
Okay.
that's our
Yeah.
listening group. That's it. We're done.
That's us, the whole audience. That's
There is no
100% participation.
listen. It was not 6K. No, I mean six. That was it.
Right.
It wasn't 600. It was six. But we thank those six individuals, and I think three of them are my brothers. So we
But
thank and my wife. So that's four.
well, listen, we have to start thirst trapping, man. So next time I'll come in a tank top.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Here
You
we
you
go.
you can have a button-up shirt that's just, unbuttoned
The
down
deep
to here.
the
Maybe
deep
maybe that's
V.
that's what people are doing. That's what
The,
people are doing.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know if I'm able to do the deep V. I don't know how deep of a V anybody wants to see. Right. So I'll stick to you doing it, Rico Suave over here. I'll stick to you doing it. You know what I mean? Make sure that next time you do the soul glow, I
Right.
I just want just let it shine through, and I just sing. I, I'll sing or play the soul glow theme song, and then you can
Right.
just sit there and go, you know, feeling all so silky smooth. That's all you. But no, man, this was fun. This was a lot of fun. I'm never telling you a story again. That's something I learned. You're immature.
Well, listen. Why don't we tell the audience real quick before we let them go? What are some of the best recent episodes we've done?
Okay.
Just name them so we can go to, and then what are some of the things we have on the horizon?
Yeah. Okay. So, to me, the one of the best ones that I was the if you don't have time for fitness, you have time for sickness. It was the
Mhm.
exercise one. I really enjoyed
Yeah.
that one. That was a good one. Um, you know, I'm telling you when I say, like, I really do enjoy a lot of, and a lot of people are telling us now, like, hey, I
Right.
really like this, I really like that. And what we're trying to do for any of our listeners is we're trying to expand outside of dentistry. We did the one with Dr. Bibe. He's a rapper. I
Right.
thought that was cool. I
That
thought
was
that
a
was
good
fun
one.
to kind of
That was a
see
good one.
somebody who is a dentist and also just doing their own passion.
Right.
I thought that that was really fun because you get to see a different side of dentists, because we come in all buttoned up and stuff and people think we're squares, and listen to me, I'm saying squares. People think you know what I mean? And here we come. We got Dr. Bibe, who's basically a rapper, a musician, and he's
With an
putting out
amazing
like,
story.
yeah, he's
Like
with it.
his
That's
story
it.
was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to me, that's what truth be told is really. It's just a matter of just not going to the same old podcasts, listen about dentistry, listen about building your office and practice. You can do that. If you want to do that, by all means, there are tons of different podcasts to listen to.
Right.
If you want to just listen to two people, three people, four people just talking about what they do outside of dentistry, what dentistry has given them, how we're incorporating ourselves into our practices, then you gotta listen to us.
Right.
You
Right.
know, we have fun with it. We try to educate. And the funny thing is, if you listen, you actually start getting so much out of it. You're like, I did not know that.
Right.
I mean, ignore the delivery people, us. Ignore
Right.
the stupidity. Get past that, and you'll see that there is a lot of value. Because one thing we do is we take our time to try to make sure that everybody understands.
Yeah.
We take our time to make sure that we break it down so that it's as simple as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll speak for myself. We want people to trust dentists again.
Yeah, and part of that is humanizing
Yeah.
dentists, and I think that's one thing I'm proud of that we've done is, yeah, we use dentistry as a framework to develop a dialogue about each individual gets human experience, and sometimes the dentistry skews or the conversation skews dentistry more.
Mhm.
Other times it skews to personal life and
Right.
struggles and
Right.
passions.
Right.
And I think that's the amazing part of these conversations is really telling a human story with each episode.
Right. And you remember that one episode, Dr. Fatima came
Yeah,
on and basically told us her struggles of being a mom, trying to go through residency.
right,
Like, that part almost had me tearing up, because I mean, you could just see the strength to want to even tell that story, and then just what she had to go through.
right.
You listen
Yeah,
to that, there's no way you can sit there and go, oh, okay, it's just a regular podcast. Because people come on and they're so honest about stuff. Sometimes it surprises me how honest they are. You
yeah,
know?
yeah.
Like, I'm like, okay, you sure you want to keep talking about this? Okay.
I
And
can
one
edit that part out, but yeah,
Right, right. And the one thing is, no one has ever said, "Hey, can you edit this part out? Can you edit that? Can you not talk about that?" I mean, I don't know about you, but I've never gotten anybody saying, "Can you guys
no,
take this out?" They're just like, "Hey, you guys invited me. I basically was real as possible."
yeah,
And
yeah,
so for anybody that's going to come on, and we're going to have a bunch of people coming on here, we actually are booked out for until what, March, April,
yeah. March,
April, yeah,
middle of March. Yeah.
middle of March, April. Yeah. So we're booked out for a while because we have great people coming on. I know that we have somebody that's going to come on and talk about ergonomics.
Hmm.
We're going to talk about basically why dentists have such poor posture, lower back pain, neck pain, why we
Right.
don't last in our own profession.
Right. Right.
We have somebody coming on and talking about just the naturalism of dentistry, doing
Mhm.
things based on how your body's responding to different things, so we're going to
Okay.
talk about that. Man, let me see. What else do we have?
I know
Oh,
we got my girl Myra coming on.
yes.
She's been in both education,
Mhm.
sales,
Mhm.
and now she's a rep for one of the DSOs, I think Affordable Care. And I've seen what she's done and what she personally did for me. So that would be a great episode for me.
Right.
Because when I tell you, there's people out there that are game changers for individuals, and when you think about being the only black dude in the program,
Mhm.
and now you got someone that looks like you, that's sees you and says, hey, I'm going to make sure you're set up and you got these advantages that other people already have because of their parents and their family. Like, there's a lot, and that's what I love about this show, man, is we talk to people that aren't just dentists,
Yep.
and that to
Yep.
whoever they affect in their lives, they are absolute game changers.
That's
And
it.
so I'm definitely excited about
That's
that
it.
one.
That's it. We
Yeah.
have the one was we talked about basically mindset. We talked about
Hmm.
how to avoid anxiety. That
Okay.
one's coming up, So we have a doctor that transitioned to become like a coach, a personal I'm sorry, not personal, professional coach
Right.
for high achievers who basically talk about mindset, talk about looking at things very differently. And that's something that we as dentists and we as people in general, we have a hard time, right? We always, somebody said to me, hey, I could mess up. I could do everything perfect 99% of the time and mess
Hmm.
up 1% of the time. And everybody's going to focus on that 1%,
Yep.
right? But one thing
Yeah.
we need to do is what? Start appreciating that 99
Yeah.
perception. So we have that coming up. So
Okay.
yeah, man.
Well,
I mean,
that's
I
deep. I like that.
honestly say what?
I said that's deep. I like that.
No,
I'm
for
looking
sure. And
forward to
then
hearing that one. Yeah.
I know you and I are gonna actually do a book review on on charities,
Okay. Yes. Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes. Toxic charity. We were talking, especially because we've been talking about doing mission trips and all that. So it'd be nice to do a deep dive onto what they do,
Yep.
long term and short term, what the effects are, and things that until I read this book and then looked at some subsequent other literatures and videos, like I was like, okay, I need to start rethinking about what the status quo is. That should be an exciting
You
episode.
see. So yeah, man, like we are here to try to build as much as we can and give as much as we can, right? We're
Right.
busy, but we want to make sure people get the most we possibly can out of this, this podcast, but also have fun. We
Yes,
try
sir.
our best to make it fun. We do a lot of stuff in the background that people don't see, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? To try to make it sound and make it look professional as best as we can. You know,
Right.
but but in the end it is just for people, because we both decided, hey, how are we going to make sure people understand what goes on in dentistry and to try to get that trust back. So
Yeah. Yes, sir.
yeah, man, this was fun. This was fun.
Yeah.
This is only, honestly, this is probably one of the first ones we had no clue what we were going to do, and
We just winged it.
we
Yeah.
winged it.
I mean, you had
We
your
winged it.
questions, but other than that, I mean, it took like
Yeah,
30 minutes to get to that because we were just winging
yeah,
it.
because you're immature, but let's end it here.
Yes,
Hey,
sir.
thank you everybody for listening. We appreciate you as always, man. Just keeping it real.
All right. Good night.
All right. Thank you for listening to this episode of Truth Be Told. The opinions on this episode are just that, our opinions. Please consult your dental professional before taking any action with your dental health. If you have any questions about anything you heard on this episode, please contact us at Realdentists with an S. That's REAL, dentist with an S, at gmail.com. We would be very happy to return any message that we receive because we love the communication that we have with our listeners.